for coming out today. What a glorious Montana day. Can't get any better than this as a day to celebrate a transition and to celebrate the accomplishments of our students and faculty and staff here at the University of Montana. I'm going to make just a few remarks, 5 or 10 minutes, and then open it up for whatever questions you might have. But again, let me just start by thanking all of you for coming out this afternoon. It's great to see people from so many different areas of campus and off campus. Great to have some legislators here, the mayor here as well, and so thank you for your support. I want to begin by thanking the search committee, the search advisory committee that worked so diligently these last 8 or 9 months on this process. Many of you have been on search committees, as have I, and you know that it's a very time-consuming process, and certainly a presidential search takes as much energy and effort as any that you can imagine. They have put in hours of deliberation, hours of reading, hours of talking to people, and they took time away from their families and their work to do that. So it's a very tremendous effort on the part of that search committee, and I want to thank them. In particular, I want to thank the chairman of the Board of Regents, Clay Christian, who chaired this search committee as well, right on the heels of chairing the search committee over at Montana State University. And so thank you, Clay. He can't be here with us today. I also want to extend my thanks to the Commissioner, Sheila Stearns, Commissioner of Higher Education. Again, she's been so important in shepherding this process along and keeping me informed along the way. I'm grateful to the Board of Regents for the trust that they've placed in me in this position. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be selected as the 17th president of the University of Montana. The institutions that make up this university, the Missoula campus, the Western campus in Dillon, Montana Tech of the University of Montana in Butte, and of course UM Helena, bring such a wealth of talent, a diversity of educational environments, and high-impact scholarship to the challenges and opportunities we have before us, challenges that higher education will help us address. During the interview process, each campus served as a gracious and engaged host, and I'm eager to go back to those campuses and spend the day right away to learn more about them. In every case, faculty, staff, students, and administration, and external stakeholders all turned out. They demonstrated an extraordinary level of interest in this presidential search. Successively strong leadership is necessary for the strength of any great institution, certainly a university included in that. I'm so fortunate in this position to follow George Dennison, who all of you know has been here for 20 years, and during that time has dramatically increased the quality of this institution and the reputation of the University of Montana. I've enjoyed working with him tremendously during these past 3 years. I've had the opportunity a few times in the past 3 days to talk about the mentors that I've had in my career. I've been blessed with having several really fantastic mentors, and George Dennison certainly represents one of those. I've learned a lot from him, and I've enjoyed working with him. So I want to introduce you to the person who will be my partner in this endeavor, in this adventure, my wife of 31 years, Mary Engstrom. Mary, would you stand up, please? Mary is also a lifelong educator, having spent 20 years in the K-12 world before then becoming a tenured faculty member at the University of South Dakota, where we were before this. She spent these last 3 years working in UM Online as an instructional designer, working with faculty members and bringing their courses to an online environment. With 2 parents who are educators, the way we've been, it was impossible for our kids to avoid getting pretty heavily involved in education. And so I want to just tell you a little bit about them. We have 2 children. Tyler is our son. He is in a graduate program right now at Penn State University. Carrie is our daughter. She's in a graduate program back at the University of South Dakota. Carrie's husband, Pete, is a graduate student, just finished graduate work with an MBA degree, and Tyler's girlfriend Ellie is in a graduate program at Penn State as well. So they've all congregated around education, and we're just delighted. We've been so fortunate to have them. So you will see a great deal of Mary over the next 10 years. So during the past days in this interview process, I've talked about those areas that I think demand our attention as university citizens and leaders. To contribute to the strengthening of the competitiveness of Montana and the competitiveness of our country, I think there are several areas that we must focus on with urgency in these upcoming years. So I'd like to just outline a few of those areas if I could for you. Student success is going to be one of the highest agenda items we have here within the University of Montana. This means providing more people with the opportunity for higher education and raising our success rates of those students who choose to study with us, our success rates in the area of retention and in the area of graduation. We want to raise those rates to be among the highest in the public higher education world, in the public research institution world. We've embarked upon a program called Partnering for Student Success here over these past 2 years at the university, a collaborative effort between student affairs, academic affairs, and administration and finance. It is a campus-wide effort, and it has great momentum, and we are already seeing some really tremendous progress there. So that will be an area of high priority for us over these next few years. A second area of high priority is designing and implementing an undergraduate experience that will prepare our graduates for the problems and opportunities that they're going to face in this 21st century. We're going to call this effort, we've been calling this effort the 2020 curriculum, and it's going to concentrate on adding several pieces to the undergraduate experience to strengthen it. One of those pieces is context, providing our students with the context of those global problems that we face as a society. It will introduce a component of integration, pulling together the major, the general education, the beyond the classroom experiences that our students have and that all of our students need to have. And it will focus on capstone experiences that bring our students together with their different backgrounds, their different academic backgrounds, different experiences, to work on problems together the way you and I do every day on the job. A third area of emphasis is going to be in assuring that our 2-year educational program at the College of Technology has the maximum responsiveness that it needs to help people enter the job market, help people improve their skills, and help young people get a start on college if they choose not to start on the University of Montana main campus. We need to continue our integration of the College of Technology and 2-year education into mainstream University of Montana. We've had some great successes in that area over these past couple of years, and we need to continue that. We'll focus on strategic growth in some of our graduate programming, trying to meet the advanced educational interests of our students and the needs of our society through graduate education. We'll increase the competitiveness of our graduate recruiting that we do, helping to ensure that we get the best graduate students from Montana and around the nation and around the world to come into our programs. We'll work on growing the impact of our research and our creative scholarship. First, by increasing the amount of it that we do, but more importantly, by focusing on creative programs of distinction that will become well-known nationally and internationally. Each of these initiatives are going to require underlying strength in a variety of areas: faculty and staff development, diversity of our campus, global programming, sustainability, and supportive infrastructure of all types. The vitality of our campus is at an all-time high, I think, with cultural and academic programming every day of the week, and that programming is of great interest to our community. We enjoy one of the best relationships with our community that a university could hope for. And of course, Grizzly Athletics is an integral part of the excitement and the balance of this university campus. Last week's football game was among the most exciting game that you could hope for, and we hope that will continue. We wish well for all of our teams here at the university, the very best throughout the year. And of course, we'll continue to strengthen our proud tradition of shared governance here. And I'm delighted to see students, staff, faculty, administration in the room. All of these folks are important to making the decisions, providing the counsel that we'll need as we move forward in addressing those opportunities that I've just outlined. The transition between President Dennison and myself will occur officially on October 15th at 5 p.m. He and I have already been meeting frequently to talk through areas of ongoing concern for us. We want to assure a smooth transition, and so we will continue to do this, to meet one another over the next few weeks. The academic officers, many of whom are in the room, and the executive officers, some of whom are in the room, have been and will continue to be key during this transition. A good deal of our attention over the next several weeks, of course, will be focused on the upcoming legislative session and working hard to help our policymakers understand the important investment that higher education represents, that it is key to Montana's competitiveness and to our nation's competitiveness. We look forward to working with our friends in the legislature, a dedicated group of folks. And of course, I will be vacating the office of the provost here within just a matter of a couple of weeks. And so it is a critical position for the university, the office, the position of provost. And again, it's important that we have continuity, that we move forward without skipping a beat. Effective on October 15th, I'm appointing Dr. Perry Brown to the position of provost. Dr. Brown is currently the Dean of the College of Forestry and Conservation and has served these past 2 years as Associate Provost for Graduate Education. He's been at the University of Montana for 16 years and has nearly 40 years of experience in higher education. He is a highly respected administrator and has been just a wonderful colleague to work with these last few years. Dean Brown, could I ask you to stand and be recognized and just make a few comments, please?
Just a couple of comments. One, I'm truly humbled by this opportunity that's before me after being in higher education for about 40 years. To have the opportunity to serve in another position, one that affects the whole university and I hope the whole state, is really a great honor. I would tell you what many of you know, that when you come to Missoula, when you join the University of Montana, you find a place that you love. It's a wonderful place to be, wonderful nurturing environment, and a place that is worth our service and working for. I'd also like to introduce my spouse, who has supported me all these years. So Shirley, if you just stand. As you can imagine, she puts up with a lot of forgetfulness, because I'm a professor and have that kind of thing. Lots of travel and lots of other things, but she's been solid in my experience, and her role is going to change too, because as a provost spouse, you have some other responsibilities and some other roles that you're going to play in the university, and I'm grateful to have her in support. Brings up the issue of what happens within the College of Forestry and Conservation. We've had a wonderful time really developing that college, making it a signature program at the University of Montana, making sure that its national and international reputation are just sterling out there. And I want to announce to you today that Associate Dean James Birchfield, who has acted as the interim dean in the past and will now assume that role again, will be the interim dean in the College of Forestry and Conservation. Jim, do you want to stand? That was not a hard decision, since he did so well these past couple of years while I've been in the provost office helping out there. So it's just wonderful that we can continue the momentum under Jim's leadership, and so we're looking forward to this just moving right along. With regard to the college, though, we don't want to leave the college in an interim dean status forever, and it's already been a couple of years. And so we will begin the search for a permanent dean of the College of Forestry almost immediately. So that by July 1st at the latest, and possibly before that, we will have a new dean on board to be able to lead that college on into the future. And so I just wanted to announce that to everybody today, and thank you again, Royce. I'm very, very happy to work with a man that he mentioned about great mentors. I'll tell you, I have had some great mentors, but not one as good as this. This is the best that I've had in 4 years. And so I'm really pleased to be able to serve him as we move forward, helping to continue the transformation of this university into one of the greatest universities in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Perry. And just so you know, that it is our expectation that Perry will serve in this role this academic year and next academic year. We will wait and do the search for provost, for a permanent provost, beginning next fall. We'll have plenty of transition going on this year in other areas, and so we'll wait and do that one in next fall. Another important piece of this transition is the other associate provost position that currently resides in the provost office, and that is currently held by Dr. Arlene Walker Andrews, and I want to make some changes there as well. She'll retain her role as associate provost for undergraduate education and policy, but in addition we are going to add to her portfolio special assistant to the president for accreditation. As you may know, we went through our Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities accreditation this past spring, went through that with flying colors, but the Northwest Commission is changing the process quite dramatically. Instead of once every 10 years, they will now be on a 7-year cycle, and we will have intensive interaction with them at year 1, 3, 5, and 7 of that cycle. This puts accreditation in a very different world in terms of the workload and the attention it will demand. Arlene Walker Andrews, having been here for 7 years and having played a major role in this past accreditation, will now be the person who oversees our accreditation process. Arlene, would you just stand and be recognized, please? Thank you for your attendance today. I'd be happy to answer any questions or take any comments that you have at this point. Thank you for coming.